It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world.
Welcome back to The Price of Business. I'm your host, Kevin Price, talking to you about you and your business. I got Joe Brusuelas, who, by the way, he's done a lot of stuff with Bloomberg, and we're delighted to have him here on The Price of Business here in Houston. And Joe, your specialty is in working with companies that include mid-markets over there at McGladrey. Why don't you, first of all, give us your elevator speech for the firm you're with before we get into our topic?
All right, so I'm the chief economist for McGladrey, who specializes in middle market firms. Those are firms revenues between $50 million and $2 billion a year. And what we do is we provide tax auditing and consulting services, and what we're seeing is very strong growth in the middle market. I think most Americans realize right now that the overwhelming majority of jobs are being produced by small and medium enterprises, which is a function of broadening prosperity finally throughout this economy.
Okay, very good. What would you say, what would you attribute to the fact that the mid-market in particular is having more growth at this time?
Well, what we're seeing is a sustained period of growth in jobs, followed by a modest increase in incomes. And we should expect that to continue through 2015. There are two things that are happening. First is we've seen a 41% decline in the price of gasoline. That's going to boost household disposable incomes by around $100 billion. And then just that steady stream of jobs, rising income, and what will happen is probably about in the middle of next year, you're going to see a pop in real wages. And that's why we're very confident small businesses and medium businesses are able to see ahead of the curve, and they're getting ready to make significant capital expenditures. And finally, at long last, this is good news for this economy.
Okay. A lot of people are very concerned that now, Barack Obama's in the last 2 years. And of course, we saw a huge shift in terms of the political shift. It was an earthquake, one like we had not seen in over a half a century. That a lot of those mandates that a lot of people have argued would be harmful from the Affordable Care Act are going to be implemented probably within the next few months. What kind of impact could that have on this picture you're talking about?
Well, most of the Affordable Care Act started to get implemented last year.
Right.
My suspicion is that a lot of workers are going to be shifted from full-time to part-time in the retail industry. In fact, we're already hearing anecdotal reports of it. Now, fortunately, those working part-time for economic reasons, those who want to work full-time or seeing their hours reduced, has dropped fairly significantly since the middle of 2014. So that's something we want to watch going forward to see if there is a real cause and effect between the implementation of Obamacare and employment status. At one point, it's not sufficient just to say it hurts. We have to see it in the data.
Yeah, no question about it. That's an interesting response, though, because a lot of the people out there are pretty alarmed by it.
Well, I want to address that. They can watch this in real time. The federal government puts out that statistic, and let me tell you, the head of the Federal Reserve, that's one of the main data points on her dashboard. That actually matters, and they're worried about it in elite policy circles. And this is beyond left-right split. This actually hits the core of this economy.
Yeah. By the way, I noticed you went to USC. When were you at USC?
Late 90s.
Late 90s. Got it. Yeah, I was just curious. I know Arthur Laffer actually taught there at one point. So.
That was well beyond me, but fight on, Trojans. It's a great time. Always a great time to be a Trojan. And I know Art's a good guy.
Yeah, he's a real good guy. Yeah, he's been a friend of this program as well. So you're bullish then on the mid-markets. And what about the economy in general in terms of the enterprise level as well as the small businesses?
Okay, so in the general macroeconomy, for the past several months, we've been growing at roughly a 4% clip. The long-term growth trend is right around 2.1%. And I'm expecting to see fairly strong above-trend growth in 2015, probably above 3%. This is likely to be as good as it gets in terms of this business cycle. And again, when you get above-trend growth, prosperity tends to broaden. So this is, again, going to be as good as it gets for small and medium-sized enterprises.
Okay, really good. I appreciate your time. Do want to encourage people to learn more about you. Obviously, the website, you can go to McGladrey, and that's McGladrey. Is that correct?
McGladrey.
McGladrey, thank you very much, .com. Make sure you check that out. And final thoughts for us today.
The economy's starting to do better. American consumer confidence is increasing. Business confidence is increasing. We're finally starting to bounce back at long last. So good times.
Yeah, Joe Brusuelas, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.
When we come back, much more for you right here on The Price of Business.